Welcome back, Hopeful Tribe. Today we're going to talk about 3 questions about attracting your soulmate.
Yes, we are.
Excited?
I'm super excited as always.
You wanna you wanna ask the questions first?
Sure. All right, let's pull that up.
Okay.
Um, what's your soulmate vision, and which part's the most important to you?
Mm. Well, now my soulmate vision looks like this. But long ago, when Auntie Sue was very lonely, I just imagined somebody who's kind and loving and smart and made me laugh a lot, you know? Um, and sometimes in my dreams, I felt like I could hear you talking to me.
Wow.
That was so cool. But I didn't really know of all the things what was most important until about a year ago.
Hmm.
I narrowed it down and I realized that really I narrowed it down to 2 things. So the first thing was that I needed you to mostly be healthy because I just got off of raising a bunch of kids and I didn't want to have to be a full-time caregiver for a while, right? And then the next thing that was really important to me was that you be loving, like almost all the time, right? Like with human exceptions, of course. We can't be 100% loving all the time, but um I wanted to be someone who was striving to be because that was really important to me. And I realized that it's if those 2 things were true, then all the rest didn't really matter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
All the rest would be fine. You know? But what I got was so much better than that. Like I think it was important to have a vision and kind of realize what was most important in that vision, but what I got in reality was so much better than anything I could have imagined.
I think we can end right there.
Yes.
Is
Is that a good ending to that question? Okay.
No, get into the video.
Okay.
All right, but the next question is, how would your perfect relationship feel, and what would you all be doing together?
Mm, well, um, I remember before I met you,
Mhm.
uh, I wanted to really amplify the vibration of love in my life. So I would listen to love songs and like imagine how that would feel to be with somebody that felt like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wanted to find someone who was gonna feel um, like home, like comfort, um, like my best cheerleader. You know, that's how I wanted to feel, and I wanted us to want to do everything together. And here we are doing everything together.
Even YouTube videos.
So that's a tip for those of you who are still looking for your soulmate is that if you can get yourself into the same feeling space you want to be in with your soulmate, I think it hastens their arrival.
Mm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
hmm Yeah, because once I started doing that, it was only a month.
Oh wow.
Only had to wait a month.
I think you've told me that before for sure.
hmm
Um, so this is an interesting one. It almost feels like we're getting away from the topic, but we're actually not. Do you love and accept yourself as you are?
I do for the most part. I have room to grow for sure. Um, and I think that working on that was the biggest part of my getting ready for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that if we don't love and accept ourselves, it's really hard for us to love and accept others. It's virtually impossible. And I'm not saying that we have to love and accept ourselves or each other in any kind of perfect, godly way, but it's always my intention to love and accept myself and others the way they are. And I think that's kind of what love is on this plane,
Mm-hmm.
is just being able to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Love those answers.
Thank you. I got a few for you. So, what is your soulmate vision, and which parts are most important to you?
Yeah. So I started working on my soulmate vision some years ago when my friend Louis, he told me that the way that he found his soulmate was he wrote down the 10 things that he wanted in a mate.
Mm.
And so I wrote down the 10 things that I wanted, and I can't even remember what the list was now, but I would keep it like, tacked up, and I wouldn't keep it so I could see it all the time, but I would keep it like maybe like behind the calendar or someplace where would always like be there. And I remember on the list were things like compassionate, kindness, generosity. I wanted us to be, um, you talk about being well aligned spiritually, I think. Um, I wanted us to be actually just well aligned emotionally and well aligned sexually. I just wanted kind of us to be sort of in alignment and of the same mind with things. So I put that up, and it was years. I just kind of like put it there. But I guess even though I wanted it, I was like not kind of doing things to get that person. But on the question was, what are the most important things? I think the most important for me were the kind and compassionate, and that was almost the anti what my previous relationship was. So I think that's why those were on my list. And much the way that you feel, I feel like I found more than I could have ever, more than I thought I would ever find, um, so many years single, just thinking like, yeah, I guess I'll just, this is it. This is it. This is me alone, I found more than I ever thought I would. So, yeah.
Cool. All right. How would your perfect relationship feel, and what would you be doing together?
Yeah. So it would feel like this. But I didn't know that I didn't know that this existed, this feeling, right? Um, it just feels like just loving and warm and home and complete. Not to say that, oh, that whole you complete me thing, but my life feels complete. It almost feels like I was living a half life before, um, or a pretend a life or something. So it just feels complete and warm and safe and wonderful and open and full of possibility and full of just support. It's just amazing, just amazing. And what we'll be doing, yeah, fun things together, just fun things together. I used to kind of envy people who I saw who were out and about, just, oh, it's Sunday, they're going to brunch, and these couples and whatever. And now I just have, someone to have brunch with and someone to like just, wake up with, and yeah, it's just lovely. It's just lovely, this life. Yeah, it really is.
I relate to that. And I used to, look with envy at the couples in Target.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I wish I had somebody to go to Target with.
I remember the first time we went to Trader Joe's together, and you're like, "Oh, this is our first like little shopping date," Yeah, all those normal things. And I'd also see people with their like this couples with their nice little dog, walking along, like, why don't I have that? And now here we are, we're walking along with our nice two little dogs,
Right? We got two little dogs, and they're so cute. You've seen them.
You've seen them, yeah.
All right. If you haven't seen them, go look for the dog videos. Do you love and accept yourself as you are?
Yeah, I like this question because much like you, I don't know if you said exactly this, but it's a work in progress. But it is such an important question to this because I think I've said this before on other videos. When we first met on Bumble, when I first had a conversation with you, and then we decided after chatting, texting for a little bit, that we were going to talk on the phone that same day. I was so freaked out because so many first conversations just go poorly, and all of a sudden this little, like, it was like a switch clicked in my head where I realized it wasn't my job to get you to like me. It was for me to decide if I liked you. And just that self-care, self-acceptance, I'm worthy of like a lovely person, and I don't have to try to get whoever this person is that I'm going to meet even consider the importance of trying to get that person like me. It is my job to see if I like them. It was such a game changer. And that was, like I've said to friends and said before, like one of the best first conversations I've ever had with anyone. And it was one of the best conversations that I'd had with a friend in a while. And I have good friends who I have good conversations with, you know? So yeah, that accepting myself, that sort of light switching of accepting myself in that moment, and as we move forward in the beginning of the relationship, were just wonderful. And I don't always, right? I don't always. It is very much a work in progress. I go in and out. It's a spectrum, maybe. I don't know if I go in and out of it, but it is so important to attracting your soulmate, you know, and attracting, you know, the one you want to spend your life with. Yeah. So such a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's super important. And I think it's part of why it took me so long to get to you, because I was working so hard on that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think I don't know if this relates to the other question though, but I did want to say something about putting yourself in a place of just loving, you know? Yeah, I did that too. I put myself in a place of like unconditional loving, and it was a different route than you went. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
I was taking care of my ex's mom, 93-year-old who'd had a stroke, and I was in this point of like, I'm loving in this relationship because I can, and because it feels like a good thing to do. And I was really in this space of unconditional love, you know, just because I wanted to do it, to take care of her. And I think that being in that space of love is what allowed me to be open enough to let this miracle in, you know? So
I think it's really profound that when you're wanting to attract your soulmate, that you don't necessarily need to focus on them, and how you'll feel about them. You could also just focus on your friends or your ex mother in law that needs care, or, you know, a stranger you meet on the street. Like, wherever you're feeling really strong love, I think you can focus when you're wanting to attract your soulmate.
Yeah, and you talked about that too, just sort of like you're waiting for your mate in your life, but just focusing on your friends. You had so much love with your friends, right? And yeah, just focusing on that because it puts you in the space of love, you know, and opens you up to it coming to you.
For sure.
Yeah. So folks are either going to think this is really sweet or really corny, but it's our story. So there you
We're
go.
sticking to
We're
it.
sticking to
it. If you have some tips for attracting your soulmate, please write them down in the comments and like this video, which is also a podcast now. 3 questions. Share with your friends, and we hope you feel loved and hopeful until we see you again.
See you later.
Bye. Oh.